welcome to the Backyard Machine Shop. We're revisiting the Kearney Trecker 2CH again. And I just wanted to shoot a short video, and when we started this, I pulled the motor out, changed the bearings. I wanted to get the mill up and running to where I can see what issues I was going to have using this thing. Well, when I purchased it, I knew there were some problems. And there typically is with machines of this age and in the price range that these things come in. You're gonna have to do some work to them. I mean, normally they're worn pretty good, and you gotta learn to run them, shim them, whatever. Well, anyway, I knew this machine had some issues, and what I found is pretty much what I was told, and I bought the mill with that understanding, and now we're gonna make the repairs and repair it. So I'm pretty satisfied with the mill so far. Now, I knew that the gibs had been pulled out the tables on the y-axis and the x-axis, and I knew they needed to be set. So when I cut the railroad track or railroad iron, I knew it wasn't going to leave a great cut because, again, the gibs haven't been adjusted properly and stuff like that. So I wasn't looking for a great cut. I just wanted to make sure everything worked and kind of demonstrate it's cutting. And this machine will cut a lot more than what I was cutting on that railroad track. I mean, iron. It probably would pull an 8-inch cutter, at 100 thousandths of depth. I don't know. We'll try that out once we get it up and running, but I didn't want to go overboard with it. All right, another thing that was brought up in the other videos, and I didn't show, and it was asked by a few people, was, did this have quill feed? Well, it doesn't have a quill feed. It has, the head will feed, and it's got maybe 4 inches of travel, and it's fed here by a hand wheel. It's also got a power feed. It's got, it's pretty decent. It's got an automatic stop on it. It's got dial indicator set up, and it works. It's pretty usable. It's not like a Bridgeport mill where you got basically a drill press quill. The whole head moves up and down, so that's going to take some getting used to. I've never run a mill with that feature before. Another thing about the mill was it looked like it had gotten hit by a forklift at some point in its life, and so there's a broken piece here on the way. The pulley here, it's right here. The pulley has got a chip in it, and the fan blade was broken off, and there's some damage under the mill, and I'll get up under there and show you that in a minute. Well, anyway, it looks like this mill had been, at some point, someone attempted to restore it, and I'm not going to say they half done it, but it needed a lot more attention than what they were giving it. The table's in good shape. There's one hole here, one spot where or two spots barely can see this one, but this one's pretty deep. It looks like a 1/2-inch drill. May have been used one time and went about to the point, of drilling through as far as the tip. So if you want to, it's not real bad. It's just a little indentation, like I said, about as deep as the tip of a 1/2-inch drill. I don't know if the oil pump works. I haven't tried that yet. I do know that the oil pump inside the mill works fine, and it's pumping oil, so that's a great thing. The knee, the same way. Now I'll take these and I'll take and drain them all out, flush them out with some kerosene, and re-oil them when I get it up and running. But right now, like I said, it needs some work. So I just wanted to touch base, and I left it looking like the mill was in great shape. And sometimes you go in with these things, and sometimes you have to work at them. The Pratt & Whitney lathe, for example, everything I take apart on that, everything looks brand new, or at least looks in great shape. This machine is more typical of what you find buying industrial machinery that's no longer being used in the industry. Is they wear it out, and that's understandable. They wear it out. It gets sold at auction. The first person that gets it may make a few repairs, and then they wear it out some more. And then it finally, it dwindles down to bottom feeders like myself that purchase stuff at really cheap prices and then spend a lot of effort and a lot of time getting them to the point of reusing them. And again, it's a machine you have to learn to use. All of these machines are like that. You have to know where they wear at and where other issues are. So what I want to do is I want to cover a few of the things that's wrong with it. Like I said, there's some indentions in the mill. There's a broken part there. Now again, like I said, this machine looks like it's been crashed or hit with a forklift or something. The X-axis handle has been broken off and been re-welded. The X-axis lock is bent and it's not the proper lock, so it's been remade. So again, it was like there was been some damage to the front of it. Now the casting looks good. Everything else up here doesn't show sign of that. I mean, everything else looks pretty decent. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all in good shape. Everything works. And it's got an oil pump here. I hadn't tried that yet, but it's you know, it feeds good. And again, other than the selector on the speed being a little bit funky, I haven't really found any issues with it operating. Everything else seems to work good. I really don't, I've never run one of these mills before, so I don't know about the noise in the head, but it sounds to be normal. It's not as quiet as my horizontal. And honestly, my horizontal is in pretty good shape. So I really, it's hard as apples and oranges. It was taken care of more than this mill probably was. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to elevate the table, and we're going to get a camera, we're going to get up under there, and I'm going to show you where the main part of the damage is, and maybe we can talk about some of the solutions to fix this later on. Again, I was just shooting this video just to let you know that my last video, I didn't want it to seem like everything was in good shape. So hold on, let me get down here and do that. Okay guys, I got you down here on the screw, and this is the Y-axis screw, and this is what I was talking about. And I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but the Y-axis screw, if you look at it right here, let's see if we can zoom in. I'm hand holding this, so it's probably going to be a little shaky. You see the screw there, and then when you come back down here, you see how worn the screw is. So it's worn considerably, and it's not to the point of cutting you yet, but it's pretty close. So that's one issue with this mill. Another issue is right here, there is a box, and it's got a bearing in it, and I guess that's for the power feed that drives the Y-axis. So if you can look right there, you can see that it's been broken off and kind of patched back together. So that needs to be repaired. It's missing the cover, the little spring cover that goes on the shaft there. That's got to be replaced. Other than that, I mean, you can look. The X-axis screw looks to be in great shape. I don't really see any problems with it. I ran it over back and forth. So other than that screw, the nut, I'm sure the nut's worn out, and repairing that part right there, this mill's in pretty good shape, and we're going to go about doing that pretty soon. We're going to pull the table and make those repairs. Now, other than that, I'm pretty satisfied. Alright guys, so down here we've got a, I don't know if that's flaking or if somebody scraped it and beat it or what. My horizontal is not like that. And maybe the horizontal is worn more, I don't know. Here's the broken handle that I was telling you about. And the table lock. As far as the table goes, we have this one surprise right there, and as Keith Fenner says, pepper tracks or whatever, but we have one there. Other than that, table looks to be in great shape. Very satisfied with that part of it. So hand wheels are in good shape, nothing's bent, and so other than that, everything else seems to be in really good shape. So alright guys, I guess that'll do it. I'm calling this section the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the good was, the machine ran pretty good, found no real big problems, and I got what I expected when I bought the machine. The bad was the screw. Screw's worn out, need to replace the screw, fix the bearing housing, and replace the nut. And the ugly, Well, I called and priced the screw. So the screw was right at, with a discount, was right at $800 for the screw and a nut, and that's used. So, and that's not bad. I mean, I would be, if I had to make it, for someone, I would expect them, you know, for it to be about that price range. If I had to have it made, I'd expect it to be about that price range. I mean, I don't live in fantasy land. I do this stuff for a living, and I know what it costs. So I'm left with two options. One is save up some money, because I don't have the $800 or $900. I think it was $800 with a discount. It was like $600 for the screw, $300 for the nut, and then it was a $100 discount for buying them both. I didn't even price that little bearing box. I plan on repairing it, and so I'm left with a few options. One is make the screw myself. Now, I've looked through the prints and looked through the drawings for parts and stuff, and that's going to be a very complicated screw to make. It's got 2 or 3 bearings. It's got at least 2 bearing races on it for bearings inside the knee. It's got a spline and 2 or 3 different type threads. So I really don't. I don't see a problem making it. Probably be making it to withstand wear and tear. I mean, as far as getting it hardened and ground and things of that nature that needs to be done to it, it would probably end up costing me $800. Second option, and I thought about this, is to take it apart and take the screw part, the threaded part, cut it off, and then pin and weld a section of screw back on. You know, that's out there, and with the way it works, it shouldn't be a problem doing that. I mean, it's slow RPM, it's nothing high speed, it's just driving a table back and forth. So really and truly, that's the least favorite option, but it is an option. Third thing would be, to buy the screw. And I'm not away from doing that yet. It's just, I have to be able to sink that much money into one part of this machine, and I just really got to weigh how the value of that doing that. So now the other thing that needs to be replaced is that box, and I've got some plans for it. If the screw and the nut would have been reasonable or would have been in the price range, I would have had to price the box too. But the box is repairable. It can be taken off. The little flange that's broken, I can either make another piece to go on there and kind of fit it on there and braze it on, or we can build it up with braze and remachine it. So I'm not worried about that. That'll be fixed. And again, you can see where I was getting at with it looked like it had been hit or something. The spring for the drive gear or the drive shaft, you can buy those pretty reasonable. So, or I can make something. It's not a big deal. So that's where we stand with this thing. And I mean, we got to pull the gib out too. I forgot about that. The Y-axis gib is worn out. I haven't had it out. I haven't seen it, but the person I bought this from had it out, and he told me it was really bad. So it's either got to be shimmed or new and made, and so that's going to be a project too. Again, like I said, it's all about weighing costs first, you know, usefulness, and somehow we'll get it up and running, and we'll make parts with it. Even if we had to make parts with a sloppy screw for a while, we'll do something with it. So glad that, you know, I had opportunity to give you the other side of the story. Like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so in the near future, expect some of this stuff to start taking place. I mean, I got the Pratt & Whitney going, got to put it together. I've got work here and there, so it may be a while. But I look out anxious to hear some of your insight and some of your knowledge of how maybe we should fix this and what we should do. And I'll take all that in consideration when I go to make these repairs. So I guess that's it from the Backyard Machine Shop. So long.